Hello everyone. Welcome to the new session of biological classification. Today we will start a new session of the biological classification in the second part, that is Monera kingdom. So this is an introduction of the Monera. Monera is a kingdom of prokaryotes. So the individual which belongs to Monera kingdom are prokaryotic in nature. And it includes mostly early primitive forms of life which are developed from the early stock known as progenote. So the first organism formed on the earth were in forms where it forms in the sea. Okay. So that is why it is called as a primitive forms of life. Being the earliest form of life, they are adapted to all types of habitat. So at that particular time, they are adapted to all types of habitat. In present also, prokaryotes can be present everywhere. Okay, they are found everywhere. Okay, so prokaryotes or the monerans are belongs to two groups. The first one is archaebacteria, and they are also called as ancient bacteria. And the second one is called as a true bacteria. So here, this eubacteria or the true bacteria are the bacteria which are present today. Okay, archaebacteria is also present today, or it is found in today's environment, but they are considered as an ancient bacteria. Why ancient bacteria? Because their structures are totally different from the true bacteria. This we will study later. Now the eubacteria is again further divided into two types, that is the uh, bacteria and cyanobacteria. Okay. Okay. So archaebacteria. They are the group of most primitive prokaryotes which are believed to have evolved immediately after the evolution of the first life. So the first life were not like the bacteria which are found today. They were a very simpler type of organism. Okay. So they are characterized by the absence of peptidoglycan in their wall. In generally, the peptidoglycan are present in the wall of the bacteria, but here it is totally absent. Instead, their wall contain protein and non-cellulosic polysaccharide. So this is the major difference between the bacteria, normal bacteria and archaebacteria. Okay, so they live under extremely hostile condition where no other organism can dare subsist. It means this particular or archaebacteria lives in a very harsh condition. Harsh condition means like salt pans, salt marsh, hot sulfur springs, in which the normal bacteria cannot survive. So these archaebacteria again are of three major types. That is, the first one is methanogen, halophiles, and thermoacidophiles. So let us see one by one their characteristic. Methanogens. They are strict anaerobes. They are anaerobics in nature. Anaerobic means they do not require oxygen for their respiration process. Okay. They occur in marshy areas where they can convert formic acid and carbon dioxide into methane. So that is why uh, wherever you go, where the marsh places is there, so there you can smell methane gas. And how the methane gas is coming out? Why it is coming out? Because there is a fermentation process taking place. Formic acid and carbon dioxide, it is converted into methane. And some archaebacteria are also found in the ruminants. What are ruminants? There are some animals which are called as ruminant animals like cows and buffaloes. Cows and buffaloes. So what they do? These bacteria live as a symbiont in the intestine of these ruminant animals, and they convert the cellulose, which is undigestible in these ruminant animal. They ferment those cellulose into methane. Okay, so this methanobacterium is very important, and they convert the cellulose into methane in the ruminant animals intestine. Next is mycoplasma. Though mycoplasma is quite different from the bacteria, but they are also a type of bacteria. Mycoplasma, or the molecules, are the simplest and smallest of the free living prokaryotes. They are very simpler type of prokaryotes, and they also possesses one envelope system. Okay, what is one envelope system? We will study later about it. That bacteria contain an envelope system, and that envelope system consists of the outer layer, that is glycocalyx, cell wall, and cell membrane. These three constitutively called as one envelope system. Okay, so here, like other prokaryote, they also possess one envelope system. Cell wall is absent here. Cell wall is not present. They lack organized nucleus and cell organelles. So, like other prokaryotes, they do not possess the organized nucleus. Instead, nucleoid is there, and the other cell membrane bound organelles are also absent. So this is also like other prokaryotes. They are heterotrophic in nutrition. They follow heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Some live as a saprophytes, but majority of them are parasitic to the plants and animals. So mycoplasma causes some of the diseases in plants and animals. So this is the very important, and mycoplasma can change its shape. Okay, the change in shape because the cell wall is absent. So that is why it is called as Joker of the plant kingdom. The next is halophiles. This is also a type of archaebacteria. They are found in the salt-rich substrata like salt pans, salt beds, and salt marshes. Examples are Halobacterium and Halococcus. They are able to live under high salt condition due to the four reasons. So, high salt condition, how they bear such a harsh environment. This is because of the four reasons. Though the first one is the presence of special lipid in the cell membrane. So generally, the cell membrane do possesses a lipid bilayer, but here the lipid is of special type that helps it to withstand in such a salt area, to survive in a salt area. Occurrence of mucilage covering. So this is also very important, mucilage covering. So salt cannot enter inside this mucilage. So it gives protection to the cell. Absence of sap vacuole. So generally the sap vacuole contain lot of water in it. So that sap vacuole is absent here. And high internal salt content. This is also very important. High salt content means no salt can enter inside the body of this halophiles. So that is why, due to these four reasons, they can withstand or they can survive in such an acidic or such an salt condition. Salt conditions like salt pans, salt beds, or salt marshes area. Okay. So thermoacidophile, this is the third type of archaebacteria. Now this archaebacteria can tolerate high temperature as well as high acidity. So this is very, very important that this archaebacteria can withstand with the high temperature and high acidity. High acidity. They often live in a geothermal vents as well as the hot sulfur spring. So this particular environment, that is geothermal vent, the temperature can increase up to 80 degrees centigrade, where other organism or other normal bacteria cannot survive. And its pH is low as 2. So that is very acidic in nature. Okay, so some of the examples of thermoacidophiles are thermoplasma and thermoproteus. So due to the following reason, they are able to live under a high temperature and high acidic condition. What are those? Branch chain lipid in the cell membrane. Now this is very important. Why they are able to tolerate such a high temperature and high acidic condition? Because the lipid is not normal like the other in bacteria. This lipid chain is branched and presence of resistant enzymes. So these two characteristics help the bacteria, thermoacidophile bacteria, to live under high temperature and high acidic conditions. Now this is a true bacteria. True bacteria, there are two examples, normal bacteria and a cyanobacteria. So they are the blue-green algae present in the fresh water, seawater, salt marshes, most of the rock. Even they are found on the tree trunk and sometime in the frozen water also. Okay, so we can see they are cosmopolitan in nature. They can found everywhere. Okay, they are photosynthetic prokaryotes in which food is stored in the form of cyanophycean starch. This is very important, that their food is stored in the form of cyanophycean starch, and lipid globules and protein granules are also found in the cytoplasm. So here we can see a nostoc, which is a filamentous form of cyanobacteria, and mucilaginous sheath can be seen in the figure, that the whole filament is covered with the mucilaginous sheath, and the two cells which is called as heterocyst here. Now you can see here heterocyst. These cells are somewhat different from the normal cells. So we will study later that what are these cells meant for. Cyanobacteria, also referred to as blue-green algae, and have chlorophyll similar to the green plants. So normal, we are having two types of chlorophyll, chlorophyll A and B. So that is found in this blue-green algae also, or a cyanobacteria. Cell structure is a typically of prokaryotic. Prokaryotic cell structure is, that is, membrane-bound organelles are totally absent. Nucleus is not found. Instead, nucleoid is present. Nucleus content is dispersed in the cytoplasm, and no membrane-bound nuclear membrane is there. So that is why it is called as nucleoid. Okay. So this type of cell structure cyanobacteria also bear. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in a specialized cells called heterocyst. Now here comes, this cell is modified or specialized, and they help in organism to fix atmospheric nitrogen. So nostoc and Anabaena are involved in fixation of atmospheric nitrogen. Carbohydrate reserve food material is a specialized starch known as cyanophycean starch. Okay, so they can perform photosynthesis because they contain chlorophyll. Now the photosynthetic the product of photosynthesis is glucose. So when it is stored in a form of a starch, that particular starch is called as cyanophycean starch. Some examples of cyanobacteria are nostoc, Anabaena, oscillatoria, and spirulina. So these are some of the examples of cyanobacteria. Okay, so let us talk about the structure of bacterial cell. Bacterial cell are not uniform in structure. There are different types of structure can be seen in a bacteria. Some bacteria are spherical in shape, some are rod in shape, some are comma-like in shape, and some are coiled or a spring shape in structure. Okay, so let us see the different shape of bacterial cell. Coccus, spherical or ovoid in outline. So here in the first diagram, you can see the coccus shape of bacteria, spherical in shape. Okay, The second one is bacilli. Bacillus, straight or cylindrical rod shape. So here the bacteria are rod shape. Here you can see their shape is rod like. Spirillum. This is spiral ring, or you can see the spring like structure here. Okay. So bacteria are called like a corkscrew. Comma shaped bacteria, like you put commas in, okay. You put commas, right? So the shape is like comma of Vibrio bacteria. Structure of bacterial cell. Now here, this is a very generalized structure of a typical bacteria. Here you can see cell wall, plasma membrane, and capsule structure. So these three structure constitute cell envelope. We have already discussed about the cell envelope. Later we will study it in more detail. So cell envelope is made up of capsule, cell wall, and plasma membrane. So capsule is a modified form of glycocalyx. We will study later. Now mesosome here. Mesosome is a centrally placed circular DNA. That is the main chromosome of this bacteria. Beside this, some circular DNA are also present, which is called as plasmid. They contain one or two genes, but that particular plasmids are very, very important. That this is also we will study later. So they can bear flagella or they cannot bear flagella. Some bacteria bear flagella and some bacteria may not bear it. But if they bear flagella, it helps in locomotion. Ribosomes is present, cytoplasm. The ribosomes are present in cytoplasm, and pili-like structures are also found in the case of bacteria. So let us study the biological structure in detail now. So what are the components of bacterial cell? The bacterial cell consists of cell envelope. We have already talked about the cell envelope. Cell envelope consists of three components: glycocalyx, cell wall, and cell membrane. So it is made up of three components. What are the three components? The first one is glycocalyx, second is cell wall, and the third one is normal cell membrane. So these three constitutively called as cell envelope. Now, the outermost, that is glycocalyx. Glycocalyx is the outermost mucilaginous layer. The cell consists of non-cellulosic polysaccharide with or without protein. So sometimes protein is present beside polysaccharide and sometimes protein is absent also. Now this glycocalyx are present in two forms. Sometimes it is present in a slime layer form and sometimes it is present in a capsule form. So slime layer, that is a loose sheath. Okay, loose sheath like glycocalyx is present. That is called as slime layer. And sometimes this particular layer is quite thick and tough. Okay, and that is called as capsule. It also provides sticky character to the cell. So glycocalyx, sometimes it is asked that why the bacteria is having the sticky characteristic. So it is because of the glycocalyx. That is the outermost component of the cell envelope. Now the second component of the cell envelope is cell wall. Now this cell wall lies between the plasma membrane and glycocalyx. The second outermost. Cell wall is made up of polysaccharide and amino acid. Now here the cell wall is quite different from the normal plant cell wall. They bear polysaccharide and amino acid. This polysaccharide is not present as in case of the normal plant cell. Peptidoglycan make up the rigid portion of the cell wall and it's called murine, and it is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetylmuramic acid. So this is also very important. Sometimes it may be asked in the examination. So in short, you can remember it in as a N-acetylglucosamine, that is NAG, NAG, and N-acetylmuramic acid, that is NAM. Plasma membrane. Bacterial plasma membrane is a typical membrane, and it is like the other plasma membrane of a cell. It is made up of phospholipid bilayer and various protein. The protein can be intrinsic, extrinsic, or a transmembrane form of protein. So this is all about the cell envelope. So again, cell envelope constitute three things. The outermost glycocalyx. Now glycocalyx may be of two types. That can be slime layer, or that can be of capsular form. The second component is cell wall, and the third and the innermost is plasma membrane. Okay, the other component of the bacterial cell, if we move inside the cell envelope, then there is a presence of cytoplasm. Now this cytoplasm is crystallocolloid complex that forms the protoplasm excluding the nucleoid. Okay, so if you exclude the nucleoid, then it is called as protoplasm. Membrane bound cell organelles are absent. Now this is very, very important. No membrane bound cell organelles are present as in case of eukaryotes. Okay, cytoplasmic streaming is absent in case of bacterial cell. This is also very important. What is cytoplasmic streaming? In case of eukaryotes, cytoplasm moves in a circular form, but here it is absent. No movement in the cytoplasm can be seen. Various structures are present in the cytoplasm are as follows. So some other structures are present. The first one is mesosome. So cell membrane of the bacterial develop and ingrowth. At some place, what happened? The cell membrane of a bacterial invaginate. So if you remember the structure of mitochondria, what happened? In mitochondria, mitochondria is a double membrane cell organelle present in eukaryote. The inner membrane of mitochondria invaginate inside the cell. So if I draw it here, this is the outer membrane, and the inner membrane invaginates and such structure. And these structures are called as what? Cristae, if you remember. Now here what happened in case of bacteria? The cell membrane invaginate or develops an ingrowth, okay, and form a mesosome-like structure. Why we are comparing it with the mitochondria of a eukaryotic cell? Because these cristae, in case of mitochondria, these cristae contain lots of respiratory enzymes. So that respiratory enzymes are also present in the case of this mesosome. That is also present in the case of mesosome, means bacterial cell also possesses those those enzymes which is present in the mitochondrion of eukaryotes. So that is why sometimes it is compared with the mitochondrion of eukaryotes. Okay, so mesosome. Next component is rhizosome. So rhizosome is present. It is a non-membrane bound organelles. It is ribonucleoprotein entities. So in the ribosome, no membrane is present. But here the ribosome is quite different from the eukaryotic ribosome. In the eukaryotic ribosome, it is 80S type, but here the ribosome is of 70S type in nature. They are of two types of ribosomes: free ribosomes and fixed ribosomes. So ribosome, when it is dispersed in nature, dispersed in cytoplasm, it is called as free ribosomes. But sometimes ribosomes are attached to the plasma membrane, as in the case of eukaryotes, ribosomes are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, membrane of the endoplasmic reticulum. So here in the case of bacteria, some ribosome get attached to the plasma membrane, and that is called as fixed ribosomes. Okay. The next is chromatophores. They are present in photoautotrophic bacteria, that is cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. So, purple bacteria, they are covered with the normal membrane, while the chromatophores, they are covered by a non-unit membrane. So, this is not a normal membrane, which is, you can compare it with the plasma membrane. It is a non-unit membrane, non-lipid or a protein membrane. Component of bacterial cell. This next component of bacterial cell is nucleoid. So this is the genetic material of a prokaryote, and it is present in a single circular stranded DNA duplex structure, which is present in the cytoplasm. So no membrane bound structure is there. So no nucleus. Instead, nucleoid. So beside the single circular stranded DNA, they contain some amount of RNA and polyamines. Now, what is polyamines? Polyamines are not found in the eukaryotic DNA. Okay. Instead, histone proteins are present. Histone proteins is totally absent in the case of prokaryotic DNA. Okay. And instead of histone protein, polyamines are present. The DNA of prokaryote is considered as naked. So this question is very important. Why the prokaryotic DNA are considered as naked? So there are two things. The first, absence of histone. Histones provide a lot of supercoiling to the DNA structure. But here, that supercoiling is absent. Supercoiling is there, but not as compared to the eukaryotic DNA. So, histone is present, and also the nuclear membrane is not present. So, that is why the DNA of prokaryote is considered as naked. Sometimes the other name is also given to this nucleoid as a genophore or prochromosome. So do not get confused with this. It is simply nucleoid structure. Plasmid. When we have seen the structure of a typical bacterial cell, there are present some circular DNA beside the main circular DNA. So this self-replicating extrachromosomal segment of a double-stranded circular naked DNA is called as a plasmid, and it is independent of main nucleoid. It has nothing to do with the main nucleoid structure or the main chromosomal DNA. They may contain important genes for the resistance, fertility factor, and NIF genes. Now, this is very important. So, sometime some bacteria is having resistance to particular bacteria, particular antibiotic. So, that resistance gene is present in that particular plasmid. Sometimes they also bear fertility factor. Now the pili, which you have seen in the bacterial structure. So pili-like structures were there. So that pili-like structure formed when the bacteria undergo conjugation type of sexual reproduction. So that pili is formed because of this fertility factor present in a plasmid. The third important gene is a NIF gene. Now, NIF gene is a gene which is required for the nitrogen fixation. So, this nitrogen fixing gene is present where? In a plasmid. So, now you can understand how important this plasmid is for the bacterial cell. Inclusion bodies. Beside these structures, some inclusion bodies are also present in the cytoplasm. So they may occur freely inside the cytoplasm, like cyanophycean granules or the glycogen granules, and they are present in the cytoplasm. Okay. But sometimes some membrane bound, that is non-unit protein membrane, that is not a not it is a not unit protein membrane, gas vacuoles and sulfur granules inclusion bodies are found in the cytoplasm. Okay. Flagella. Bacterial cell possesses flagella. We have seen in the that a structure of a bacterial cell, they bear a flagella over there. So this flagella is made up of three parts: basal body, hook, and a filament. And they are made up of a protein called flagellin. So this is very important. Flagellin protein that makes the flagella, and it is made up of three parts. If we see the structure of a flagella, so this is a flagella. This is a flagella, and here at the base is the basal body. So this is the structure of a flagella. Okay. So at the base, basal body is present, and hook-like structure is there. This is the hook-like structure, and a long filament you could see here. So this is the flagella structure. It is made up of three parts: basal body, hook, and filament. Reproduction in bacteria. So three different mode of reproduction we can see. The first one is binary fission, sporulation, and sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction is not a type which is seen in the eukaryotic cell. It is quite different here. So we will study later about it. The first one is binary fission. It is a common method of the bacterial multiplication under the favorable condition. So when the bacteria has to multiply in a favorable condition, it follows binary fission. What happens here? The karyokinesis part occur. In karyokinesis, the nucleus divide into two nucleus. Here the nucleus is not present, instead nucleoid. So nucleoid is made up of a circular DNA. So that circular DNA replicate and make a copy of it, and it is divided into two parts. Okay, so nucleoid divide, and here you can see in the second step. In the second step here, invagination of the cell wall and membrane started, and the transverse septum-like structure is there. And when this septum reaches, transverse septum reaches to a complete level, then the cell divide into two daughter cells. So in this way, binary fission occur in bacteria. Okay. Now, one very important part is that the prokaryotes does not involve the formation of spindle fibers. In case of eukaryotes, the DNA structure divides into small fragments, and those fragments are called as chromosomes. Now the chromosomes divide and move to the opposite poles. So there at that particular time, they require the spindle fibers, but here no formation or no requirement of spindle fiber is there, because there is a single circular DNA. Sporulation. Now this is again a type of asexual reproduction, and this occur in unfavorable condition. The condition is not favorable for the bacteria. So it do what? It secrete a wall around its cellular structure. And bacteria produce several types of spores that could be in a form of gonidia. Okay, that could be in form of gonidia, endospores, or cysts, but these are all a type of sporulation process, and this occur in unfavorable condition. The next is sexual reproduction. A typical sexual reproduction is absent in bacteria. Why it is absent? Because absence of meiosis and gamete formation. So meiosis is a type of cell division, and it occurs when gamete formation takes place. So here no gamete formation is found in case of bacteria. Instead, parasexually, three methods are present. That is transformation, transduction, and conjugation. These three different types of sexual reproductions are found in the case of bacteria. So we will see how it happens. Transformation. It is the absorption of a DNA segment from the surrounding medium. So a DNA is present outside the bacteria. Okay, that DNA could be of a virus, that could be of another bacteria. They enter inside the bacterial cell. The cell that have the ability to uptake are known as competent cells. So the bacterial cell which take up the outer coming DNA segment, that is called as a competent cell. That is called as a competent cell. Okay, and this absorption of a DNA segment could be of another DNA. So when it enter inside the competent cell, it can get incorporated into the main circular DNA and becomes a part of that particular bacterial cell. So this is a type of transformation. Transduction. It is a transfer of foreign DNA by the means of viruses. Now here, the virus is involved. Bacteriophage virus sometimes do what? The virus may pick up a gene of the host in place of its gene during the multiplication in the host. So let us understand in this way. A virus which infect the number one bacteria. It introduces its DNA inside the bacterial cell, and when it multiply, sometime by mistake, the bacterial DNA get incorporated into the virus. And when the bacterial cell burst, that virus is dispersed in the environment. Now, this particular virus, which is carrying a small bit of bacterial DNA, can infect a second type of bacteria. And it can transfer that bacterial DNA to the second bacteria. And when this virus DNA carrying a particular segment of a bacterial DNA get incorporated to the second bacterial DNA, it is a type of what? Sexual reproduction. That is called as transduction. So it passes over the gene of the previous host to the new host. Conjugation. Now here, the transference of a bacterial DNA to the another bacteria takes place. So the conjugation is the method of transfer of a genetic material from one bacteria to the another. Okay, and it occurs in 4 different steps. The first step, recognizing attaching of the donor to the recipient cell. So here, the donor cell get attached to the recipient cell by the formation of pili-like structure. This we have already seen in a bacterial cell. Now that produce a channel through which the DNA can be transferred. Now the circular DNA replicate and transferred that particular DNA through a channel to the recipient cell. Okay, so generating the single stranded DNA that is transferred to the recipient cell and establishment in the new host, and that particular DNA can be which transferred to the new DNA, it becomes a part of that bacterial cell. So these 3 different types of, but this is different types of sexual reproduction is discussed here. That is the transformation, transduction, and conjugation. But this is not a normal type of sexual reproduction, which is discussed in eukaryotic cell, which is found in the eukaryotic cell. So this is all about the moneras. In the next session, we will talk about the biological classification, So in this is the end of the session, and in the next session we will talk about protista.